Wolf gang, wolf gang, wolf gang, wolf gang, it's the wolf gang, wolf. Yes! It's here! It's finally here. It is out, we are listening to it, and it is the best album I've ever heard in my life. The best rap album I've ever heard too. Better than that one, better than that one, better than that one, and better than that one. It's better than... it's the greatest. Strong, beefy, huge, gigantic, in-your-face, 10 strong swag, 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 swag. Are they gone? Hi everyone. Hey, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for an album review. This is the real album review, not the decoy album review. This is the real life album review in real life for you. Doesn't that sound nice? Tyler, the Creator, Goblin. Buckle down, get a glass of water, maybe get a sandwich, because this is going to be a long one. Tyler, the Creator, is a California rapper and the founder of Odd Future, which is a rap collective that over the past couple of years have released about a dozen or so mixtapes, which have received a lot of buzz on the blogosphere, but more the indie rock and pop blogosphere, not so much the rap blogosphere. And these guys have publicly lashed out against some of these rap blogs in the past because they won't cover them, like Two Dope Boys. And that was a blog that Tyler named on his last album, Bastard, that I reviewed last year and liked a lot. And in the time between that Bastard review and today, I've pretty much felt every way you possibly could about Tyler, the Creator. He's offensive, he's stupid, he's funny, he's terrible, he's nice, he's honest, he's a prima donna, he's angry, he's perceptive, he's artistic. He is human. And like any human, he is all of these things. And also like any human on the planet, Tyler is flawed. And he really lets that show in his music too, especially on Goblin, which goes in about every emotional direction you possibly could. And Bastard did that too, but Goblin is in a much different place, because Tyler is in a different place. In a very short amount of time, Odd Future has been questioned and praised by tons of music blogs and magazines. I even saw today that they have a piece on the New York Times website. Now, of course, this rush of fame is going to impact the creative process, but Tyler lets it affect his art in the worst way possible. We're not talking about Biggie's Juicy here. Instead of just doing his thing and making music the way he wants to make it, Tyler takes his extreme lyrics, his extreme statements, and finds a way to preface each one of them with, "Oh, I'm not serious. Don't take me serious. This is fiction. I'm just joking." This album is 1 minute and 13 minutes long. But it could easily be 50 minutes, or maybe even 40 minutes, if you cut out all the references to blogs, and people being offended, and people talking about Odd Future. He spends too much time addressing blog posts that people aren't even going to care about 4 months from now. And I know Tyler likes to put on this I don't give a f persona, but all of these half-baked retorts prove just the opposite. I guess I just don't understand all the explanations or justifications. I mean, yeah, Tyler's got a pretty extreme mouth on him, but it's not like his music is the first to be misunderstood. I reviewed that Death Grips album yesterday. That album is messed up. Do you think it's easy explaining the appeal of such an album? People are going to hate things and misunderstand things and label things and box things. I feel like Tyler is the only person who doesn't understand this right now. If people don't get things or understand things, why take the extra time to explain? Why make the concessions? No matter what you say, they're not going to like it. All of these asides could be a joke for the listener, keep in mind. But if it is, it's not a very funny joke. I really don't feel like I'm listening to an album or a bunch of songs. I feel like I'm reading another stupid article on some website talking about Tyler, which is exactly what I didn't want, because I was excited about this album because it was finally a chance to explore the music and understand the music and really just get into the music. But I'm not getting a lot of music. I'm just getting another heap of drama thrown into my lap. So even though the disclaimers really kill the rebellious vibe of Sandwiches and Radicals and Goblin, there are a lot of moments on here where I do feel like Tyler is making music the way he wants to make it. And I like that, whether or not the song disappoints me. I really don't like the R&B influences coming in on Fish and coming in on She, and I don't hold that against Tyler. That's not something specific to this album. That's just a style I'm not particularly into. And the track Analog seems like some kind of attempt to make a semi-romantic, sexy slow jam about chilling and partying down by the lake with snacks and drugs and girls. It kind of bores me. And though I find the idea of a story about a female munching vampire pretty interesting, all of the really pitch-shifted vocals on Transylvania make the track extremely obnoxious. Plus all the references to bats and wolves and the beat. It sounds like a terrible experiment gone wrong on a Halloween sound party cassette. There's even an 8-minute posse track on here called Window, which seemed like a good idea until I realized all of Tyler's friends are not as good as him when it comes to rapping, not by a long shot. Haji Beats comes in at a close second, but still, a lot of the guest spots on here are filled with clumsy flows, just boring rhymes, bland punchlines. It's just frustrating. But there is a decent handful of tracks on here that I like a lot, that I love. To start, Yonkers, which every time I listened to it after I first reviewed it, it grew on me a little more and a little more. Tyler sounds insane on that track, borderline insane. The lyrics are full of memorable punchlines about Stevie Wonder, Xanax, his therapist, and also the lyrics are filled with interesting contradictions that I dig into a little bit more with each listen. Sandwiches is pretty good too, but it just kind of sucks that two of the album's best songs were released before the album even came out. But Nightmare is my favorite track on this album, and it's just Tyler looking into his darkest urges and laying really grim lyrics to them. And it's kind of depressing to see him rip apart his life like that, but at least it feels authentic. At least it feels honest. Like, he's not trying too hard. He's not worried about what anybody thinks when he says what he says on that track. But what's even more depressing on this album for me is the song Her. And that just shows Tyler pining for affection, just desperate for affection from a girl who he has a crush on. And maybe this is why, or maybe one of the reasons why, he acts out so much. I don't know. But it kind of takes me back to a time when I was young. You know, I was a little antisocial too, but it also takes me back to the first time I listened to Bastard. Because on Bastard, Tyler was making music that was confessional, that was cathartic. And he was making it for himself the way that he wanted to make it. He wasn't explaining and re-explaining the meanings behind his songs. And he wasn't worried about whether or not some white soccer mom was going to be offended by it. And that's pretty much it for songs that I like on this LP, except for Suck, which I'm sure a lot of you are shaking your heads at or really confused by, and I'm positively sure that it's just a Waka Flocka Flame spoof. Sometimes the rhymes and songs and hooks are on, and when they're on, they are on, and sometimes they're really, really, really off. But where I'm completely offended on this album is the beats, which range from being tolerable to completely terrible. The synthesizers on these songs sound like garbage, spewing from the most consumer-grade keyboard someone could buy at a Walmart. I'm not even going to name off tracks, because every track here has a synthesizer or a fake-ass piano sound that is ugly as sin and makes me kind of want to throw up, and then take my throw up and then pour it into my ears so I don't have to hear the sounds anymore. And I don't know why the beats aren't really a part of the conversation right now, because they sound like they were produced by a baby in Mario Paint Music Composer. Plus the reverb on some of these tracks, especially on the vocals, is extremely cheap and extremely digital. And some of the mixes on these tracks are really wonky. Take the track Radicals, for example. I feel like that song is something I should be jumping around to and breaking stuff to, but it just kind of ends up sounding like a song I should nap to. And take the instrumental AU-79. That thing is composed very lazily, it's directionless, it's kind of repetitive, and all of its punches are pretty obvious and boring. This is one of those moments where an album's production sounds exactly like its budget, which I assume in this case is $0. This is underground. This isn't that Kanye crap. That's why the beats sound like that. They're unsigned DJs and producers who are younger than Tyler, and putting together beats that are leagues ahead of the production on here. Just go on DatPiff, just go on DJ Booth, go on a number of rap blogs out there. If you're not ignorant, you've heard better beats than this. So, for me, Goblin is nowhere near as good as Bastard. It seems just tainted by its popularity. And the thing is that Tyler's popularity is only big within the indie community. It's not big in the grander scheme of things. When Kanye talks about how popular he is in his music, I roll my eyes. When Tyler does it, I roll my eyes twice. When a video clip of the President of the United States airs on CNN calling Tyler the Creator a jackass, I will reconsider listening to him complain about being famous. But I'm sure Tyler is serious when he says he misses Earl, he doesn't like the way things are going maybe, he doesn't see his mom that often, he wonders why it's mostly white kids listening to his music. But the fame Tyler hates is the fame Tyler wants. I mean, I'm sure he would love a response from Fox News on his little Bill O'Reilly comment on here, like he couldn't have picked an easier target. So basically, for me, this album is full of crippled beats. Crippled beats. Decent, great, funny, masturbatory rhymes, and so-so songs and hooks. I'm kind of torn on it. I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to enjoy it with all of you. But I kind of feel like this album is like when I went to go see Odd Future play at South by Southwest, at the Billboard Showcase. They came out, there was fury, there was fire, but then they just kind of decided to leave in the middle of their set. And it became pretty apparent that what I was experiencing wasn't real. It was an act. It was a bunch of kids trying as hard as they possibly can to amuse themselves. And that's fine. Tyler makes music for himself. He even says that on the first track of this album, but I guess that means he doesn't make music for me. So if you don't like this album, then I guess he didn't make it for you. All I know is that from front to back, I did not enjoy Goblin. There are some great tracks I pull out of it, but, you know, kind of a strong 4 to a light 5 on this album. But hey, don't get upset, don't get mad, because you know what? we got one of the best music videos of 2011 out of all this. And you know what else? Goblin is Nilbog, spelled backwards.